Hello and welcome to this very short introduction to IntelliJ IDEA. As you will see here, I have opened my IntelliJ, and this is probably what it looks like the first time you do it as well. I have over here my recent projects. Just like in Eclipse, you can create projects and they are shown over here. You probably don't have these. So you will instead click on the Create New Project. And let's see what happens. We open up this wizard here, and usually we just want the Java here. I have selected Java 11. Some of you may still be using Java 8, and that's okay. We haven't seen any problems with that so far, so that's probably fine. So Java here is what you want to select, and then you don't really need to pick any of the additional frameworks. I don't think we have any interesting stuff here. So for your first project, you're going with Java. Later on, when we are doing some JavaFX exercises, you're going to need to create a JavaFX application instead. So you're probably ending up with at least 2 projects for SDJ2. So we're starting with this one. I don't select any of the extra libraries, and I click Next. I don't want any example code, so I'll just leave this blank. I click Next, and here I select where my project should be located, and I give it a name, and I will just call it SDJ2 test. I probably have an SDJ2 already, so you'll see that it automatically is going to create a folder for you. Now this folder here is marked as a project folder, so you cannot I saw someone have problems by creating a folder through IntelliJ, and then he couldn't create a project inside that because it was already marked as a project folder. So this is the location of my project, and I click Finish. What's down here? Content root, that's probably okay. Yeah. Click Finish, and hopefully IntelliJ will open in a little while. I have it here. So this is what it looks like. You over here you have your project structure. As you can see, this is the root of the project. There are some external libraries. For now I just have Java 11. Later on, when you're going to add a database, you will have some database external library. If you have a JavaFX project and you're using Java 11, you're also going to have JavaFX libraries down here. We'll get back to all that. So for now I have my project root here. There's some idea files about the setup of the project. We don't really need to touch any of these. And you have your source folder, and this is where you put all your code. Now I suggest that you separate your project, or you organize it by creating modules. So I right click my root here, I think. Right. I right click my root, I create a new module, and I will just, so this is looks very similar to what we did when we created the project. So I select my SDK here for Java. I want the 11. Just what the project is already using. So apparently I can create modules of different type of Java. We don't really need that, so we just use the SDK selected from the project. I click Next. I give my module a name, and I suggest, this is of course entirely up to you, but I suggest you create a module per session. So I create a module called session 1, threads, intro, whatever, something like this, intro. Click Finish, and then I have a module here. So module is sort of similar to a package, but each module has its own source folder. So I'm going to, I have my project root, it has a source folder, I don't need this one, so I'm going to delete it. And then I have my module here, and this one has a source folder. So I could create another module, and I call this session 2 threads continued. like this, and you will see this one also has a source folder, so I can put my code in multiple places. And this means these modules sort of function like sub-projects. So if I have some code in here, it doesn't really interfere with code in here. If my code up here is broken and doesn't compile, I can still run this down here. So now you have the separation. So I create my first package. Maybe I call it exercise 1. And in here I have my first class. Hello world class. There we go. And I create a main method. And I print out hello world. And let's run this and see what happens. It's just saving. All right. So one of the benefits of of IntelliJ and not of Eclipse is that you can actually just click the green button out here, the green play button, to run this specific main method. I tend to get confused in Eclipse because I have to select which class it is that I run, and then, or sometimes I have to click on the class and then run it, and it doesn't really work. So I tend to run all kinds of stuff that wasn't intended. So I just click this one here, or the one above, doesn't matter. And it just have to build, compile everything. All right. So the first time it took a fairly long time. I cut that out of the video because that was quite boring. But you see that I printed out here. I can rerun it by pressing the play button down there if I want to. Has to build again. Take some time. There we go. And so IntelliJ is a bit slower than Eclipse, but it has a lot of nice features about auto implementation and guessing what you want to do. So I have been using IntelliJ for a while now, so I have had it set up, but if you're using it the first time, you may need to set the output path. So you go to the project structure, and you go to the project, and then this one down here, it has to be set. And mine is all automatically set, but sometimes it's not. So this is basically when you compile all your code by running it, it will compile your code, and then you need to tell IntelliJ where do you want to put this compiled code. So I just have inside my project, I have an out folder, and that's fine. You can put it wherever, but this is sort of the default. So you will now see that I have my out folder here, and it has compiled and created my my Java program. All right, and then I could do the same over here. I could create another exercise 1 package, exercise 1, and I could create code in that, and I could create another package for my next exercise, exercise 2, and so on. And inside of these I can create sub packages, sub package 1, and you will see that it does this concatenation here because I don't have any classes in exercise 1, and there's only one package inside, so it will just concatenate it here. If I want to add another package inside exercise 1, I have to then do a package sub package 2, and you will see that it is added inside. So I have an exercise 1, and inside that package is an exercise sub package 1, and then inside that one I have a sub package 2. So I have to move the sub package 2. Yes, I want to move it, and I want to move it here. Okay, refactor. And now I will see that I have 2 packages, sub package 1 and 2, inside exercise 1. This is a bit inconvenient. You just have to know about it, and then you will soon forget that it was annoying, hopefully. So I think that's all. I mean, you can also have all your main methods will also be shown up here. If I were to create another main method in here, other main method, it prints out something else, hello something else, and then it wasn't there yet. If I run it, there we go, it's printed out, and now I have both of them up here. I can select the other one and click this one to run it, and this one to debug it. I don't know if you have been introduced to the debugger, maybe we'll see that later on. Alright, a final comment about two very important shortcuts. So I just switched to my other project, and you have the shortcut control space, which will show you which methods to call, and it's basically your autocomplete. So whenever you are trying to start to write something, control space will sort of finish everything for you. If I create a let's say a car equals new, then control space will give me all the suggestions on what I want to create, and I can just press enter and it will give me a new car. So control space is your autocomplete, and it's super useful. It's very good at guessing what you want to do. And then the other one, right? Your control and space. What's my plus? Right, those two. And the other one is the Alt Enter. That's your quick fix. If something, if IntelliJ is complaining about something, then Alt Enter will quick fix it. So let me just, for example, implement runnable, and you will see that now IntelliJ is complaining. It's red underlined here because when I implement the runnable interface, I must also implement the run method. And if I press the Alt Enter, then I get the suggestions on how to fix whatever is wrong, and I can just select implement methods, and then I want to implement the run method. Yes, and then it comes down here. Alright, so control space for the auto completion and Alt Enter for the quick fix of all errors. And then I'm going to put a link up as well, but there's also a this one here, an IntelliJ cheat sheet. So it shows you some of the most used shortcuts. I think there's a rename here on Shift F6 and Alt Enter here about the quick fixes. If you want to generate getters and setters and constructors, it's Alt Insert. It looks like this. Alt Insert. I can create a constructor, and then I can select which of the variables should the constructor set. Then I get this one here. Let me delete that again. If I want to override methods, I will maybe we'll pick a getter and setter, and I want to generate getters and setters for these three methods. Then it will also create this for me. Right, pretty quick. Alt Insert again, and I can override methods. Now I'm just implicitly extending objects, so I just have the, for example, to string, and then I override this one. Right. So there's a lot of shortcuts to really help you speed up your coding, and but that depends on, of course, on which shortcut scheme you selected. I have the IntelliJ default setup. That's what I'm used to, so that's what I prefer. You can probably go and change these if you like your Eclipse shortcuts. Then I'm sure there's a way in IntelliJ to change whatever these are. Extract method is pretty useful. I can select all of these and Control Alt M. It will create my, I call it setup method. Then it will take everything I highlighted and put it into a new method. So that's pretty cool. I can write new object, for example, like this. And if I put my cursor here and click the Control-Alt-V, I will get the left-hand side of an assignment. That could also be pretty useful. So you know, take a look at some of these shortcuts and see if there's anything that seems nice to you. Alright, I think that was all for this video. Thank you for watching.